Welcome to the Spartacus Project, everybody. We've got kind of an interesting episode this week because I don't know how much arm wrestling we're going to talk about or if any arm wrestling. There's been some crazy shit going on in the political world. Donald Trump had an attempted assassination this past weekend, somewhat successful. I mean, the guy hit him in the head, just in the wrong spot. You're from Canada, Chris, so I don't know how up you are with American politics, but you're pretty close. So, what'd you think of the hoopla, the craziness?
Well, my family's heavily liberal, so they were all disappointed that the headshot didn't wasn't a success, right? And when I heard about it after the fact, I'm like, well, this is great. He'll get elected. I I watched a little bit of the debate, and for me, I can't understand how the leader of the free world, Biden, is an incoherent imbecile. Like I don't know how like you can throw a rock and hit a guy in a bar that can speak better than him. So for me, I have no clue how he gets elected. And I'm not saying Trump is perfect, but by the debate alone, you can tell that he's a lot more effective and he has a much better way to articulate and communicate. So for me, it was like, well, kind of bittersweet, right? Like, too bad there was an attempt on his life. That's kind of sad that security can get in or security was weak. Um, and there's people still out there that want to end lives, but you know, if it helps him get reelected and gets Biden out of there, so be it.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was because the security was weak. I'm really not a conspiracy theorist. Like I get into some things, and I'm a deep thinker on a lot of these things, but a lot of the conspiracies I don't buy. I think that without a doubt, I don't know how anyone could prove that somehow the Secret Service wasn't involved in this. We live in a day and age where there's cameras everywhere, and there was tons of footage out there of people recording this guy crawling on the roof. They're yelling to the cops. There's a dude up here on the roof. The Secret Service snipers on the building across from him have him in their sights. They can see him. And somehow the dude squeezes off 7 rounds before they dust him in the head. Like, it doesn't make any sense. There had to be a conversation with Secret Service people, whether they went to their higher ups, like, hey, we got a guy on a rooftop. Did we smoke him? Somebody had to say, like, no, leave him alone. Like, there's no way that guy climbed up on that roof with everybody in the crowd seeing him and telling police he's there and them just not knowing about it or not doing anything about it. So I think they wanted Trump dead. Somebody in the Secret Service or somebody higher up, some liberal pedophile wanted him dead for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
Trump just happened to like turn his head. It would have hit him right square in the head,
Mm-hmm.
but he turned as the guy shot and it caught him in the ear. Crazy, crazy how things can unfold. But I don't even think this is a
Yeah,
conspiracy theory. I think this is a clear case of there's more involvement for sure.
yeah, absolutely.
And then
Yeah,
what you said about
absolutely.
Biden too not being able to talk, he's been like that for years. Like people are just now acting like it's a new thing. Like all the liberal media is like, man, yeah, he's really compromised. Well, no fucking shit. We've seen the guy stumble around and bumble and not be able to talk or have a press conference. He can't even read off a teleprompter. He reads the stuff on teleprompters you're not supposed to read.
He does weird things. He fucking shakes the hand of a black guy and keeps his hand held to him for like 20 seconds. Like he does these stupid, illogical things, and it's like you'd mock him if he was just a guy in a shopping mall, and you'd point out to your friends or you'd mock this guy, think he has dementia or he got out of the loony bin and starts meandering in the mall. But that's not the case. The guy's the president of the United States, and like, how is that possible, man? Tell me how that's possible. Anyway,
Yeah,
uh,
doesn't make sense to me. I think the reason people hate Trump too, and there's so much to identity politics in America where vote blue no matter who. Like you have extreme people on both sides, but I think Biden got elected strictly on people hating Trump. It wasn't because they liked Biden. It
no,
was because
no, for sure, for sure,
they just
for
hated
sure.
Trump so much and were like
Yeah,
anybody but him. And
yeah.
then the country's been a disaster the past 4 years. The economy sucks. We just signed another 10-year deal with Ukraine where we're sending them $80 more billion. Like it's been a massive shit show the entire time he's been in office. And I voted for Trump again. I don't like Trump as like I don't know the guy. I don't have to like my president
Mm-hmm.
on a personal level or even think he's a good person. He doesn't have to be a good person to be a good president and a good effective
No, no,
leader.
no,
I just want a
no.
guy who's going to keep us out of wars, keep us safe, and put money in my pocket. I
That's
don't
right.
care. I don't care if he grabs women by the pussy. I don't
Yeah,
care what he does in his personal life. I just want him to be a good president.
Man, my prime minister or president can be a rapist, but if he can bring down income tax by 11%, guess what? I'm voting for him. I don't give a fuck what is. Like, obviously, in a perfect world, you want a great human being that has great values and has great puts great systems in play that puts more money in your pocket and increases them. But that doesn't happen. Politicians generally are not good men, right? People that go into politics, they don't do it for the right reasons. They're not righteous human beings. One politician could be more righteous than the other, but these are not righteous, selfless human beings. Um, so you just go with the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, it's weird that we live in a society where I can't voice on what it was like in the past, but you would think when you think of a politician or a leader for a community, you think of a selfless person. You think of someone who's looking out for the betterment of everyone else. But politicians at the upper levels and higher levels nowadays in America, in order to even want that job, you have to be like a narcissistic, douchebag, selfish person. Like
And
it's
a
all about
billionaire.
that. Yeah, and a bit. Well, and you be that's the thing too. Why are our politicians so fucking rich? Why like it shouldn't be a position, it's a public servant job at the end of the day. Why are these people so caked up and ridiculous? They don't live amongst the people anymore. They represent the
Marketing machine.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a marketing machine. They need the money to back and buy off people and advertise. And I mean, you have to be incredibly wealthy. You can't just be a regular Joe.
No. No, you got to get bought for sure. And the pharmaceutical companies in America kind of run everything. They run billions and billions of dollars in advertising. They donate hundreds of millions of dollars to campaign ads. I've heard this before, but I don't really know if it's true. Are pharmaceutical companies allowed to advertise in Canada, like on television and shit?
Well, I don't think so. I think I only see it on American channels.
Yeah. So like
Yeah,
Pfizer's the biggest sponsor of the NFL.
yeah. And for the record, I just caught myself. If a candidate was a rapist, I wouldn't vote for him. It was just an extreme comment to show that if you bring down income tax and put more money in my pocket, I don't care if you're a good man. But obviously, if you're that level of criminal, I wouldn't vote for you. I just had to clear that up.
Hey, Bill Clinton was putting cigars in women in the Oval Office, so JFK was a philanderer. Like these guys, these aren't normal people.
Yeah. And
These
Clinton
aren't
was a
normal people.
brilliant. Clinton was brilliant. Like he was a brilliant leader. The guy like BJ's. The fuck.
Yeah.
Um, who
Who
gives a
doesn't?
fuck? Like you know, fuck. What do you want? I mean, we're 20 years away from having a trans president. Like, who knows? It's just a crazy fucking world.
I know, man. I'm hoping that it goes in the other direction before that. Like this trans stuff and everything going on is absurd. We got high level trans politicians now, high level, like in the cabinet. Our trans, our I think our the head of our Department of Health is a transgender man or woman. I think it's a man that dresses as a woman. So I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. But I'm not surprised they tried to assassinate Trump. I mean, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, like a bunch of people have been predicting this for a while. They were going to try to take him out because Biden's just not capable of running, even let alone existing on Earth for 4 more years.
Yeah, yeah. He can't do anything really functional. The guy's, I don't know, man. It's bewildering.
Yeah. Well, let's go into something more
Yeah,
more fun,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess, or normal. Um, I saw a list today about quarterbacks, and they had your boy Josh Allen as the number 3 quarterback in the NFL. A group of people voted on by players that he was the third best quarterback in the NFL. And I know you're high on him.
Yeah.
That that seems way too high.
Well, if we're being completely objective, number one is Mahomes. Who do they have as number two?
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's a mistake. The guy has he's got one of the top offensive lines, top running, one of the best running games, running teams. Without himself, he's got one of the best top three defenses in the league, and he still can't get past the second round. Josh Allen. I mean, you can argue he's not top three if you look at his general. If you just stat based, but it's his capacity, it's what he can do and what he has done in small sample sizes. But I mean, if you gave him Lamar's team next year, he wins the Super Bowl. It's not even close. You give him an elite team around him, where every part of that team is top five in the league, running, offensive line, defense in general, special teams. Tucker. You give him that team, he wins it all. He's clutch. It's not that he's not clutch. He's got a cannon arm, and when things get rough and you can't get yards, the guy can pick up yards by will when he needs to. He's tough as fuck. He can make all the throws. He has errors in judgment. He's not the brightest, sharpest. He's not Aaron Rodgers out there. He's not Brady. He cannot dissect in a millisecond. So he's prone to mistakes. And when you have a cannon arm and you think you can get it into every window possible, you sometimes Brett Favre was like that. Brett Favre has more interceptions than any other quarterback alive, yet he's in the Hall of Fame. He was exciting to watch. He threw bombs, but he made some boneheaded errors as well. And kind of like Josh Allen's kind of that realm, except physically he's a lot more gifted. 6'5", 245. It's a fucking linebacker. So I mean, they compared him to Newton, Cam Newton. Cam Newton couldn't make all the throws. Cam Newton was again 6'5", 250, but and a strong runner up the middle, but did not have the arm to make every single throw, and did not read defenses nearly as well. But I can easily see him number three. I mean, for me, if I had to start a franchise with a quarterback tomorrow, it's him. So I can argue he's my number one. I take him over Mahomes tomorrow, assuming they both have the same roster to work with. When things get rough, he can pick up yards. And what does it do to a team around you when it's 3rd and 13 and you run for 14 while breaking 3 tackles? What do you think that does to people around you when they see your quarterback doing that? Because most quarterbacks today are pansies. They dive feet first and they slide feet first, and although they're leaders, they're not really leaders. A leader of any team has to be a physical leader. So they'll say the quarterback's the leader, but I don't buy it. But so I can see him being number 3. I can see him people arguing he's not even top 5, and I can see someone arguing he's number 1. It's based on capacity. It's based on potential, because his potential is ridiculous. What he can do, we've almost never seen from a physical standpoint. He can throw 50 yards on a rope, and he runs a 4.640 at 255 pounds, 250, and sheds blockers. Like it's pretty remarkable what he can do.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's a good quarterback for sure. I think the reason that he gets thrown into these conversations where he could be top 3, top 5, number 1 overall is because of all the things you listed. I think it is his talent. It's his arm talent, his physical talent. He's a good looking guy that gives you points too. Like
he's also a wicked leader. Like he is a leader.
Oh yeah,
altruistically. Like he wants to be the one to do the hard stuff. Like he's not Lamar Jackson is not tough. Lamar Jackson does not have resolve. Lamar Jackson is not an effort guy. And the team still rallies around him because he's got 4.35 speed. But they get to surround him with so much elite talent just to be a playoff team. He's not an elite quarterback. He's not top 5. He's not top 10. Top 10. He's not an elite quarterback.
No, I don't think Lamar. I think what you said first about putting Josh Allen on that team, he wins the Super Bowl. I think there's probably 5 or 6 other quarterbacks you can make that same.
Argument. Of course you can. Of course you can. That's my point. It's not so much that Josh Allen's that good. I'm just saying that Lamar Jackson is that overrated.
Well, Josh Allen might be that good, dude. Like I've watched Josh Allen play. I saw him kick the shit out of the Lions a couple times, and I remember when he was coming out. Was it Wyoming? He came out of, and he was just a raw talent, like cannon arm, and he's done better than I thought he would coming out. And I just looked up his stats just now. I just got it on my phone because I was like, let me see. Let me do his stats are better than I thought, truthfully. I didn't know he had 15 rushing touchdowns last year, too.
40. He's going to be the first quarterback in the league to go 40, 40, 43 years in a row, assuming he gets it, rushing and passing 3 consecutive years, I believe. And when he first came into the league, he was incredibly raw. His in the first year with the Bills, his completion percentage was like 49%. Then it went to like 55, and then it jumped to like 67. He made in his second or third year, he made this exponential step forward in accuracy.
Yeah, he became a Pro Bowler.
And something happened, and it's not the fact that he can throw these great throws and he's got a cannon arm. He's just tough. Quarterbacks are not tough, right? Quarterbacks, it's not 1927. Quarterbacks are not the toughest guy, and arguably they're sometimes not as tough as the punter. Like they're not that tough, but he's a physical leader. He's a heart and soul guy with a cannon arm. and crazy speed. I mean, that's incredibly rare. In baseball, you call that a five-tool player. In football, that's what he is. Could he put it together? Well, football is the ultimate team game. If you don't have good wide receivers, if you don't have protection, if you don't have a defense that can keep the opponent under 25, you're not going anywhere anyway. But so I don't care who they are, but he's got that, he's got the ilk, like he's got the clout, he's got that, he's in that league. Like you give him a good team, he'll take you all the way.
Yeah, he
He's just that
definitely
good.
is. And what's really strange about him, like Josh Allen seems like he's been around for a while because he came in and started as a rookie basically on a bad team. You know that him and Joe Burrow are the same age?
Yeah, and Joe Burrow is the better thrower of the ball. Joe Burrow is when healthy is the best thrower of the ball in the league. He's better than Mahomes. He is he's not as physically gifted. He can't go get a 4-3. He can't run 6 yards and bust through the defense when he needs to. He's not that guy, but he's still fairly mobile. But he's the most talented thrower of the ball in the league. He's just not the most talented overall quarterback. But I love that guy. Love that guy.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's
Fucking
got that demeanor that you
Ohio.
want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ohio boy too. Yeah, Ohio State from LSU, drafted by drafted by Cincinnati. I mean, just what a stud! What
Yeah,
a
Joe
fucking
Burrow's got
stud!
that demeanor you want, that Joe Cool mentality. Seems like he's really unfazed, but
Oh
he's got to
man,
stay on the field, man. They've never given him an
yeah.
offensive line that can do anything for him.
No, and they give him. He's got three great receivers. One who's a Pro Bowler, and two that are almost Pro Bowlers, I think, or even two that are.
Yeah.
But they can't protect him, and their defense is not even top 15 in the league. So and even when he's healthy, they're still a fucking contender because he can do great things. They kicked the hell out of the 49ers 2 years ago when the 49ers had went deep. Like they just was it last year or the year before. But when he's healthy, even with a mediocre team, he does damage. Like he's that good. His stats, I've seen. We talked about this. I've seen his stat line like 31 for 34, 409 with four TDs and no interceptions. Like that's stupid. That is stupid.
Yeah, that'll
And
carry any team.
yeah, and that's not with great protection. Like he's got to get rid of that ball quick. They're coming after him. They drafted an O lineman, Mims, big giant guy, but he's raw. But man, I hope he plays out because at least they drafted O line. They needed to draft O line.
Oh yeah, now they don't have the money to sign
No,
any good offensive linemen, so they're going to have to draft them. They got all
that's
that
right.
money in the wide. They're going to have to let T Higgins go too, that other Pro Bowl wide receiver you're talking about after this year because they
Yeah.
can't afford to pay him. But you have Burrow, you have Chase. You shouldn't need another stud wide receiver. Burrow and
No, you
Chase.
need protection. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they got a good running. They got a good running back. They need protection, and they lost a key player in the defense. I forget his name. Uh, he's an end rusher, but they
well, the
lost
Lions
him.
got him. What is his name?
Oh man, he's a stud. White
Reader.
guy.
DJ. They got DJ. The Lions got DJ Reader from.
Oh man, he's what a great run stopper. What a
Yeah,
great run stopper. Like he's one of the top three run stoppers from an interior defensive lineman in the league. That's going to hurt them because if teams can run on you, you're fucked. Wow. Good for the Lions. Lions are gonna if Lions don't make it, the Lions have to make it to the Super Bowl next year. I mean, they just got better.
yeah. They should. They
You
should
know?
make it. They were winning
Yeah.
that game against the Niners to go to the Super Bowl, and they blew it. Really,
Mm.
drop passes, shit penalties, failed fourth down conversions. Like they shot themselves in the foot over and over and over.
Yeah.
And the team's
Yeah.
better, man. Their secondaries should be
Yeah.
better. They got rid of
Oh,
Cam Sutton. He was
they
out
had the
beating
best.
women.
Yeah, they
So
had the best draft according to many draft experts. They had the best draft in the league. They drafted two high end defensive backs, which was their weakness. They're strong everywhere. I mean
yeah.
Hutchinson. I mean they're strong everywhere.
What team that made the playoffs last year do you think is going to take the biggest step back this year?
That made the playoffs going to take a step back. I think the Eagles are in trouble. I think the Eagles are in trouble. Uh, they're. I don't like their quarterback. They have too many deficiencies. Um, they lost too many players. I don't think they're making the Super Bowl. Super Bowl. I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think they're going to struggle. Um, I hate Dallas, but Dallas will still be there.
You think Dallas is
San
going to make
Francisco.
the playoffs?
Oh, they should. I mean,
Really?
they got great talent. They got great talent,
They got Zeke
and
Elliott now again as their starting running back.
yeah, they got him back.
Yeah,
Um,
he's their starting running back.
yeah, the division's not that strong.
No,
Um,
the division sucks, but I mean, you got the Eagles in the division.
the Giants are not where they should be.
No,
Um,
Giants suck. Redskins suck. Well,
yeah,
Washington football team, whatever the
Commanders,
fuck they're
yeah,
called.
Commanders. Uh, I don't know. No, Dallas should walk through. They have incredible talent. On the defensive side, they have a great. I mean, Buffalo embarrassed them, but their defensive it's very dynamic and fast. It's just not stout, right?
Dude,
Um,
Dak
but
Prescott fell apart against the Packers in the playoffs and got
yeah.
obliterated. I have zero faith in Dallas. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't even make
Well,
500.
no, they're above average talented team, so they'll make the playoffs, I presume. Um, but yeah, I see a drop off from.
Dude, the Bills might have a drop off. You lost
Well,
Diggs.
they will. Well, losing Diggs was a good thing because he was a locker room cancer. I don't care how talented you are. A guy like that expresses he wants out early, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. They had a party when they realized he was traded. Is he talented? Sure, but they also brought in Samuel. I mean, they drafted a stud. Well, I mean, apparently great hands at 6'4" and can jump out of the stadium. Uh, he's got some deficiencies, but Josh Allen can overcome deficiencies with his arm. Like he can. So we'll see. But it'll always come down to defense. Um, and their defense, they're getting their middle linebacker back who was gone all last year. He's a Pro Bowler. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. But
Who was that
I
safety
see.
you guys lost? The safety the Bills lost.
Oh man, bad with names. They lost two safeties
Was it
actually,
Jordan
but
Poyer or wasn't Jordan Poyer? Was it?
yeah, they lost two. Poyer was one, but he was 34 years old, 32. He's not young, and they lost another one, but they were both like in their early 30s.
You still got Micah Hyde though as safety.
Yeah, yeah, and no, maybe it was our defensive cornerback they lost. I forget, but yeah, no, I don't know.
And am I crazy? They're in that same division as the Jets, aren't they? The Bills.
Yeah, yeah, Jets,
Okay.
Patriots. Yeah.
See, are you scared of Aaron Rodgers at all with that team coming back? You think he's done?
Well, I love Aaron Rodgers, like but first of all, he's past his prime. He's still effective, but he's past his prime, and that team's junk. Like if everything goes well, they could be okay, but and it's a top 7, 8 defense in the league, but there's a lot of deficiencies all around, and you know,
I
and the
think their main
Patriots are going to be.
deficiency was that quarterback. Zach Wilson was an abomination.
They had more problems than that. There were more deficiencies, and Rodgers isn't going to come in there like he's not what he was. The 2009 Aaron Rodgers isn't playing. Even in his last year at Green Bay, like he was losing zip. Like you can see when Brady's the
For
exception, but
sure.
even with, I remember Peyton Manning. Like Peyton Manning went to Denver.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like a 30-yard pass is looping. Like, what are you doing looping a 30-yard pass? They just lose a little bit on the fastball, right? And in the NFL, the way defensive backs can fly off and try to pick off a pass or deflect it. If you don't have zip on the ball, that's why the scouts love a strong arm because a strong arm is if it's accurate, cannot be defended. If you give a quarterback with a strong, accurate arm time, you cannot defend it. You have to hope he's off, or the receiver's off in his run, but in
Yeah, they
his
can throw
line.
receivers open.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to kind of hope. You can't defend it. Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. But he's not the
I'm
same player.
I'm 50-50 on Rodgers, man. I was out on him years ago because I hated the Packers because I'm a Lions fan, and I was out on him a few years ago, and then he fucking comes out and wins the MVP, and I was like, holy shit, man! Like, what is going on with this guy? So I hope he's not effective. I don't want to have to worry about the Jets, but even though they're in the AFC, because they do have talent, like that Garrett Wilson, a wide receiver, stud, Brees Hall, a running back's a stud, and if you give Aaron Rodgers talent, and I mean he's a mobile quarterback, but he's not a scrambler. Like, and his mobility is going to be hindered now too because
He's
of his Achilles.
yeah.
He
He's
can
he's
extend
not
plays.
he's not well, he's evasive. I wouldn't call him mobile, but he's
Yeah,
evasive.
he's
He has
slippery.
great he's great. In the pocket. He's hard to touch. He's got great instincts. Much like Brady, who is very, very slow. he had instinct, sort of Montana. They know when someone's coming. They get rid of the ball quick.
Yeah, I've been proven wrong by Aaron Rodgers so many times. I wouldn't bet against him coming out and playing well, but I don't see it, man. Eventually, Father Time's undefeated, so I don't see him coming off this torn Achilles and being the same guy he was. But even if he's like 90% or 85% of what he was, he's still 200% better than Zach Wilson.
Well, and the thing is, he'll throw for 23 touchdowns and 5 picks. Like his ratio, he does not make bad decisions, right? Because his arm talent isn't what it was. He might not be as mobile, but his brain is still his brain, and he's not going to make these stupid mistakes that Zach Wilson made. He's not. He'll throw it out of bounds before he tries. Like he's just the IQ, the experience is still there. So you're going to see stats that aren't what we used to seeing from him, but the stats are still going to be very formidable and very efficient. You're going to see efficient numbers,
efficiency,
just not in the same vein we saw 10 plus years ago, but he's still a highly intelligent, very accurate quarterback.
Yeah, he's still going to be efficient for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a weird season, man. It's weird for me thinking the Lions are a favorite. I'm not used to this. It makes me uneasy in my fan skin that we have serious expectations now of being a top 2 team in the NFC. There's weirdos, and a lot of them in mainstream media. Do you know who Nick Wright is? Are you familiar with him? The long hair.
Yeah, podcast. Yeah,
he's already got Caleb Williams as like a top 10 quarterback. Yeah. There's a bunch of people picking the Bears to win the NFC North. They're gonna suck.
Yeah. But he's got some Skip Bayless in him. Like,
oh yeah,
he's made some stupid predictions as well.
Yeah. Anybody picking the Bears, I would love to bet on that.
I lost my fucking mic.
Yeah, anybody picking the Bears, I would love to bet on that because I think Caleb Williams is going to be the biggest bust possibly in NFL history. The dude paints his fingernails. He cries in the stands on his.
Sorry, man. I don't know if you can hear me. I lost my mic. Those speakers died out.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Of course, I can't hear you now. I'm sorry, man. It was down at my things were down at 5%.
Oh, you're good, man. We can end it there. It could be a short one. Fuck. We can just end it there. It's all good.
Spartacus Project Podcast.